Hello everyone, Cannon here, and I'm gonna do something a little bit different for this episode, and it's something that I had planned for a little bit now, doing something just kind of like a chatting video in a sense with some background gameplay. So, here I have World of Warplanes because I've been playing that a lot recently, and I'm going to be playing it for a decent amount of time for this 5 times event. So I kind of was interested in doing something similar to, if any of you watched the Mighty Jingles, doing something similar to Mingles with Jingles, except my version I'm going to call CannonChat. And the name was inspired from, in World War II, I think it was President Roosevelt had something called the fireside chat to update people of the war effort during that time. So I decided on the name CannonChat. So how this is going to work is I'm only going to do this, planning on only doing this once a month rather than once a week, because many times I don't record regularly enough to do my normal stuff, let alone something like this once a week. But on the flip side, I am willing to make them a bit longer. So recently, since I got my computer upgrades, I can actually have longer videos. For some reason, the 3.8 gigabyte limit thing just disappeared as soon as I got Windows 10, so I'm not sure what the deal is with that. And this is live gameplay, so if I do get distracted, I apologize in advance. Well, I'm probably going to get distracted pretty soon as I get into the thick of it. So specialized XF90, yeah. So with each one of these, I kind of want to discuss a certain topic that I feel like talking about, as well as possibly just a normal chatting thing. And what I mean by that is I'm willing to answer questions from these videos in the comments if you want to be featured in something like this. Obviously, it depends on whether or not I am willing to answer that question. Of course, if it's too personal, I'm not going to, but for the most part, that shouldn't be an issue, I would hope. So the topic this week, or this month, already getting into that already. Drop all the bombs. We have the military base already. The topic that this month I kind of wanted to talk about was the virus that's going around. Now, not specifically the virus itself, because that has already been talked about by so many people lately, but its effect on gaming specifically. So overall, the virus has definitely delayed some of the newer games. One game that I was looking forward to was the next Sword Art Online game. So I've played, well, still have not finished the Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet game. The next one in that series was supposed to be Alicization Licorice. So that has been delayed by a number of months, and a lot of people are working from home now, or they've unfortunately gotten laid off. So that's definitely something to keep in mind for gaming, but also for titles such as The wargaming titles, such as World of Warplanes is a good example, or World of Tanks and World of Warships, Armored Warfare, basically anything that has like a monthly subscription plan has given out free premium. So for what's kind of funny is the kind of competition, well, I shouldn't say kind of competition, the competition between World of Tanks and Armored Warfare, even though that Armored Warfare doesn't have a super huge player base anyway, so I really would hesitate to even call them a competitor to World of Tanks at this point. But World of Tanks gave out, well, first of all, Armored Warfare gave out 7 days of premium, and then World of Tanks gave out 2 weeks, and Armored Warfare basically said, we're not going to have any of that. So they gave out 2 weeks of premium plus a bunch of high tier rentals of premiums. So and then World of Tanks did another 2 weeks of premium, so they were kind of on competition of who's gonna give out the most goodies to players, and I find that to be quite hilarious. And I'm really surprised that we won 800 points to 0 there. I would have thought with a specialized XF90 that they would have done a lot more than that. But I guess the German ground attacker there that I'm playing is definitely quite good, even though that I just stuck around the middle zone there. So why I'm playing World of Warplanes this weekend is because of this. Now that wasn't really a super great result with only 12,000, well 12,000 XP sounds like a lot, but for tier 10s I can get around 10,000 on a double, or at least like 8 to 10,000. So on a 5x that's actually not very good, especially with my boosters running. So next I'll play the IL-20. So, on to the topic at hand. So, basically, like I said, any game that has like some sort of monthly subscription, such as premium account or, well, whatever, has given out a lot of freebies in regarding to that. And for me personally, for gaming wise, because of my medical situation, I've been playing mostly games for quite a long time. And so a lot of people ironically have been sort of getting into the position where I'm at, where all they can do is game and that's it for the most part. But I've mostly been playing World of Warplanes, and it's just the most ironic thing, because Armored Warfare, well, for Armored Warfare I can choose when I use the free premium account that they gave me, so that was always such a big quality of life thing that Armored Warfare did from the very beginning that definitely easily makes it better than World of Tanks in many regards. But I didn't even play World of Tanks with that free premium account that they gave me. And I've been doing World of Warplanes for whatever reason. I think it's mostly okay then. I think it's mostly because out of the wargaming titles, unfortunately, I find World of Warplanes to be the least frustrating. As ironic as that sounds. But World of Warplanes, I actually did I did a review of World of Warplanes quite recently, and I definitely talk about my frustrations of World of Warplanes as a whole. It's not a game that is all good. Especially if you want to play this game casually, it can quite easily become frustrating. But I just like that jet gameplay that this game offers, and for War Thunder, which is pretty much its only competitor, you have to grind War Thunder for practically years in order to get anywhere, from what I've heard. And let's just say I am not willing to do that. And while I did play a decent amount of War Thunder at one point, I haven't played for a really long time. And so this game, especially being a lot less grindy than War Thunder, was pretty much the main option for that. Can I get this guy? Yeah, I don't think so. But yeah. So that has been the majority of what I have been doing. I still need to record more Resident Evil 1 remake, for an example. I still have some things that I need to work on. Now, I was gonna actually say this at the beginning, but I am working on a custom thumbnail for the CannonChat series, so hopefully that is all well and good. Unfortunately, I haven't finished it, so I might upload it before I have that done. We'll see. This is like my first time trying to do my own thumbnails for videos. I typically just use whatever YouTube decides to give me and choose the best one out of the options. And so far it has been going okay enough, I guess. Oh man, I'm kind of surprised he's that high. How is it that as soon as I'm recording World of Warplanes, like, I'm having these somewhat mostly uneventful games where it's just kind of raffle stomps, and then when I played yesterday, there were quite a few times where I had to play a good number of battles before I actually got stuff done. That's quite ironic. But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to discuss. I think that I could think of was free premium days, as well as some delays on games. I guess I can talk about Resident Evil 3 Remake. So, Resident Evil 2 Remake was like Game of the Year last year. Oh hey, we got Air Supremacy. And that was actually my initial reasoning why I decided to do a Resident Evil 1 Remake, was because I really liked the look of Resident Evil 2 Remake. And it just was a game that I liked the look of. It looked like it was a lot of fun, and I had never experienced a Resident Evil game before. So I decided to start from the beginning and play Resident Evil 1 Remake. And the only experience or exposure that I've had to that series was from Roa Mithro's Let's Play of the original 1996 version of it. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give it a shot. And so that is how I got into starting Resident Evil 1 Remake. Besides also Alien Isolation not going on sale at the time. But and so far the game has been was like, if I judged it as a whole, it's been kind of a mixed bag. But at the same time, I think it definitely has its moments that makes it so that it is quite good for of an experience. So when it came to Resident Evil 2 Remake, I was planning on possibly covering that this Halloween if I ever get around to finishing the first remake. But Resident Evil 3 Remake was made this year. And honestly, I don't think I'll cover Resident Evil 3 Remake. And the reason being is because Resident Evil 3, you're constantly being chased by a monster called Nemesis. And the problem that I have with that is that I really do feel that if I did play it, that I would be more frustrated than scared. And that was kind of what happened with Resident Evil 1 Remake, was that there were so many times where I was frustrated to the point where the game was no longer frightening pretty much whatsoever. And so that really took away from the horror value of the game and me appreciating what it had to offer. So for Resident Evil 3 Remake, I don't think I'll cover it. I just find that that game would be more annoying than scary in so many ways. And also it doesn't help that I'm watching Jingles cover it, so I'm already relatively being spoiled of what Resident Evil 3 Remake has to offer. But I have restrained myself from watching anything that has to do with Resident Evil 2 Remake. For the most part, I do know that they have a monster similar to Nemesis that chases you around, but I don't think it's to the degree that Resident Evil 3 has, though. So I think overall that would be a better experience. And for Alien Isolation, I actually have Alien Isolation now. And the funny thing is that in Halloween and everything, they refuse to go on sale when all of the other horror games, as well as some other games, were going on sale. And then out of the blue, they have one of those daily sales on Steam. And so you could get the base game for, I think it was literally $2. So it's just kind of like, okay, so you don't go on sale during Halloween, and then you go on a daily sale that that makes the game, I think it was 95% off. Like, how? What? So I bought the game as well as the all the DLCs for it. I think it was $12 for the bundle, which was not bad at all. So that's kind of nice that I got all the DLCs. I don't know if I probably won't record them as I don't really like having super long projects. I unfortunately got experience from that from some of my other stuff. The Fatal Bullet series especially got just way too long. And Like anything that is going to be more than, let's say, 50 parts of 30 minutes, like that's a bit long for me. But I do have Alien Isolation now, so I'm not sure how much people wanted me to cover that. But it's an option now. And since I got into Resident Evil and I want to do Resident Evil 2 remake, I have no idea when I would actually cover that game specifically. So if you want me to play it sooner rather than later, let me know in the comments. So I think this episode is pretty much done since I pretty much just had the thought of the effects of the virus on gaming, like specifically premium account and all that for the wargaming titles and whatnot. I don't really have anything else in mind to carry on, so I think I'm gonna stop it here, or at least after this battle, since I'm kind of concentrating on that more than anything right now. And then next month, I know I'm gonna be recording this like mid-month, but hopefully it still works fine. But next month, what I'm going to cover is actually difficulty in games, because Armored Warfare definitely needs to take take a look at that. And unfortunately, I've been kind of focusing this this vampire down, so he can't really do anything. He just unfortunately spawned right when I was able to finish him off. And this Tier 9 German fighter has a lot more firepower than you would expect out of something this fragile. And since we have air supremacy, this game is pretty much done. And as for Path of Exile news stuff, just to have something else to talk about, Path of Exile started with Delirium, which had quite a rocky start, to be honest. And everything. I actually, well, I should say Warmonger got me all of the items I was expecting to have, or that I wanted with my build. And so he got me like Tailwind boots, +1 level of all lightning gems amulet, and all this other stuff. So before the next league starts, which I have no idea when or what the topic is and what that is actually going to be like, I'm definitely going to do a build review, because using mines in Path of Exile is a lot more strenuous than I would give it credit for. And especially if you don't have something to automate flasks for you, which I also have set up now. So Path of Exile, there's stuff on the horizon for before the next league, doing another build review and stuff. And me and Warmonger were going to do our first, what is that called? Shimmerlacrums? Well, whatever. Regardless, the like hard wave encounter things that pretty much only like the top Path of Exile players could realistically do. We were going to give that a shot. So I think before I start rambling about something else, that's where I'm going to call this month's video the very first CannonChat video. And even though that I'm uploading this in the middle of the month, like, I have no idea when exactly I'm going to upload it, but anyway, mid-May, I'm going to plan being the key word here, upload the next one at the beginning of June, so like within that first week. If not within June 1st, sometime in that first week would be my goal. And definitely, if you want a topic discussed, leave me a comment, and if it's intriguing enough, I will gladly cover that. Or if you have any questions that you would like to ask me for a Q&A style thing, CannonChat is where to do that on. So leave me a comment. So with all that, hope you enjoyed this first part here, and first CannonChat, and thank you very much for watching, and have a wonderful day.